Tell me about a time when you had to adapt your leadership style to effectively work with multiple perspectives. Over the past 7 years, my role has evolved several times over with my current employer. One position I stepped into was leading the MRB team, while still carrying out my existing role and responsibilities as a quality inspection supervisor. Initially, I observed how the MRB meetings were being conducted and identified the key players from each business group. My first goal was to form an alliance with the critical stakeholders and identify ways to immediately improve the overall presentation and delivery of information. Soon after, I was tasked with taking ownership of the meeting and overhauling the entire process, which included the containment of material and tracking all associated costs. To succeed, I adapted my leadership style to fit multiple perspectives. I took a collaborative approach with the engineering teams, meaning that I engaged in technical dialogue so I would speak their language, and pursued every question that surfaced. I also worked alongside them to ensure the customer experience was understood and that liability was clearly defined. With the supply chain planning teams, I utilized situational leadership. I made an active effort to listen, as this part of the business was relatively new to me. Listening allowed me to better understand their perspective, specifically regarding material shortages and availability. We would then negotiate and agree upon how to cover immediate production and customer demand. The team reached consensus on a streamlined meeting format and adopted Microsoft Teams as our new platform. The cadence moved from 2 days a week to 1, and we cut the meeting time in half. Our new process reduced delays in material availability as we were able to get material back into stock at a faster pace, and the executive team gained visibility into the true cost of poor quality. Overall, the new platform strengthened accountability across departments. Most importantly, trust and collaboration deepened across the team. This experience showed me that effective leadership isn't about reinventing or changing yourself. It is about flexing to meet others where they are, and that adaptability is what drives credibility and results. Very good, Mr. Dawson. Share an example of when you had to make a difficult leadership decision with limited information, and how did you handle it? As a quality supervisor for a passenger boarding bridge manufacturer, I was responsible for overseeing inspection duties and requirements across each department, and ensuring that our bridges met safety, compliance, and customer standards. One afternoon, the VP of Global Manufacturing informed us that an incomplete bridge was going to be shipped to a customer as is. This would mean that the project would be completed in the field. I had to decide on whether to comply with my boss's decision or intervene with the intent to protect the integrity of my team and the customer. The challenge here was that my team was known as the gatekeepers of quality, and we were really good at upholding that reputation. Yet our voice of concern was being eliminated from the decision-making process. I had limited information about the field operation team's readiness to complete the work, and no precedent for bypassing end-of-line testing. My responsibility was to weigh production pressures against the risks of releasing an unfinished product, while ensuring that my team's credibility did not diminish in the eyes of leadership, or more importantly, the customer. I chose to elevate my concerns respectfully to leadership, framing it not as resistance, but as a matter of protecting the integrity of the quality function and ensuring accountability. I immediately gathered my team to discuss the situation and tally their list of concerns. We then formed a contingency plan to ensure that the customer would have clear visibility of what remained unfinished. I then consulted with engineering and project management to understand the risks of completing the project in the field. My goal here was to understand what resources would be available on site and whether customer expectations had been aligned with this plan. Although my decision to approach the leadership team created tension, it ultimately safeguarded my team's credibility and reinforced our role as trusted gatekeepers. The customer received the bridge with full transparency, which built trust instead of eroding it. This experience taught me that even with limited information, a leader's responsibility is to analyze the problem, consider alternative approaches, and present viable solutions, while safeguarding the integrity of the team and ensuring their voice remains part of the conversation. Thank you.